Good evening. Now, before I start my story, I want to say I hope all of you are staying safe and healthy during this pandemic. I also like to say that the story is not funny or humorous, it is very serious and personal to me. It is actually my first and at the moment only funerals I've ever been to. The funeral of my old friend KJ. I've known him as KJ for years since we were kids, and that's what I'm going to be calling him from the duration of this video. That's what I'm most comfortable with right at the moment. Now, KJ was the son of my dad's old childhood friend as well, Kendrick. And when we were kids, my dad would take me to Kendrick's house in Vegas, and when and we would just spend time together doing what kids would do. Like he was a few years older than me. Like by the time I was in third grade, he was in middle school, but we still had fun together with him and his sister Kanisa, who was also older than me. In a way, they were kind of like the older brother and older sister I never had. I I was an only child growing up, unfortunately. But when my dad would take me there, it was always a fun time. But unfortunately, we drifted apart. We had no falling out. It wasn't negativity or hostility. We didn't even really part on even good terms. We just drifted apart because my dad, he was Kendrick's friend, and he was only able to take me there whenever he was in Vegas. And unfortunately, my dad was in the military at the time, and he was often overseas. My mom wasn't as close with Kendrick, and I believe that's why she didn't take me to their house as much either. I'm unsure on the details for that, but I didn't see KJ or Kanisa again until my freshman year in high school, and that was only for a day. And that was actually orientation at Rancho High School. And after that, I was encouraged to keep in contact with them by my dad and Kendrick. I didn't, and I regret that to this day. It was a mistake I would take back if I could, but I can't. I haven't thought about him after that for my entire freshman year, for my sophomore year, and I haven't thought about him for the summer before my junior year in South Carolina. The next time I thought about him was when my dad told me that he got a phone call from Kendrick telling him that KJ had passed away. The reason for that was because KJ's current girlfriend at the time, both him and her were in an argument, and either his girlfriend or the neighbors heard the argument and called the police, thought it was a fight going on, and they took KJ's being hostile and tasered him. When the taser hit his chest, though, sent him into cardiac arrest. I looked it up later. The likelihood of that happening is supposed to be low, but it happened. When my dad told me that, I was just stunned. A person I spent time with when I was a kid, but haven't thought about for years, for over 2 years, is dead the next time I hear about him. Now, ironically enough, the first response in my head was, is he having a funeral service? That is what I asked my dad. That's the first thing that came out of my mouth. He told me yes, the funeral service was going to be held in Arkansas. So both me and my dad drove down there. We missed the church service, unfortunately, but we were able to stay for the burial of his casket, and we were able to stay for the dinner service afterwards. Now I can remember just standing there in the grass as the priest or pastor just drones on and on about giving respects to KJ. I didn't really pay attention to the words at the time. I just stood stock still and stared at his casket from a respectable difference. And I remember feeling uncomfortable there because I haven't talked to KJ in years, and it actually made me feel more ashamed. And I felt that shame as I was giving my condolences to both Kanisa and Kendrick and the rest of their family and friends that were there too. Because he was someone I should have kept in contact with, that's someone I knew as a kid, but no, I didn't. And he's dead, and I can't change that. And I was lamenting that as I stood over his casket after he was buried. Like I just everyone else was heading to a dinner service, but me, I just stood there. I just stood right in front of it and stared down into it. Like I was trying to see if I could find KJ down there. Like I think I apologized for not keeping in contact with him. It was an emotional day for me that day, so some details are fuzzy. If there is any moral to that story, however, is that you need to cherish the people you care about, your friends. If you make a friend, do your best to stay in contact with them, especially if they're close. And I'm talking about anyone, even now, even if they're from our COM class, make an effort to call them, to schedule plans with them, to spend time with them, because you don't know when they're going to be taken away. Now, this is not my own picture, unfortunately, and it's kind of unclear because of this glare on the camera, but this was a picture of my dad when he was younger with his old friends from high school, and he still knows them. He still keeps in contact with them to this day, unlike me, who forgotten about KJ. Guess that makes me a pretty bad friend for that one, honestly. But yeah, don't be a bad friend like I did. Try to do better, which is what I'm trying to do now. I'm keeping more in contact with Kanisa, and I've also reconnected with my old church that I left for a while when I was in South Carolina, Second Baptist Church. It's here in Vegas, actually. Unfortunately, you can't visit because of this whole pandemic, but once it blows over, I encourage you to stop by if you're a Christian. But remember the people in your life and remember to give them the attention they deserve. Thank you.